Viewer discretion advised.
March 14, 2014. A man boards a commercial flight in Frankfurt. His passport says he's an agricultural consultant. His boarding pass was purchased 3 days ago by a shell company in Delaware. In 11 hours, he will be inside Syria. 6 years earlier, the same man crawled through freezing mud for 18 consecutive hours. He was one of 242 candidates. By morning, 193 had quit. Not failed. Quit. His unit does not appear in any organizational chart you can access. His salary is routed through a budget line labeled contingency operations. His family believes he works in military logistics. What you know about military service comes from recruitment advertisements and Hollywood. What actually happens inside special operations units contradicts almost everything you've been told about how modern wars are fought. This is the story of what it actually takes to become, and remain, a special operations soldier. The answer involves mechanisms of human transformation that most militaries would prefer you never understood. In 2001, US Joint Special Operations Command conducted roughly 12 direct action missions. By 2014, that number exceeded 170 per year. Each mission required operators who had survived a selection process with an 80% failure rate. The United States maintains roughly 70,000 special operations personnel across all branches. That's less than 3% of total military strength. These 70,000 individuals conduct the overwhelming majority of America's direct combat operations. The selection process is not designed to find the strongest or the fastest. It is designed to find something far more specific. You will understand what that something is by the time we reach the psychological evaluations. The modern special operations concept was codified in 1941 by a British officer named David Stirling. His insight was counterintuitive. Large military organizations have structural blind spots. Small teams could exploit those blind spots faster than bureaucracies could adapt. Selection instructors don't care whether you complete the task. They care how you behave when the task becomes clearly impossible. That distinction is everything. The operator who enters his house at the end of a deployment is not the same person who left. He has spent months being someone else. The transition happens in the driveway. Sometimes it takes minutes. Sometimes it never completes. A conventional infantry soldier deploys for 60 to 90 days per year. A special operations soldier deploys for 180 to 270 days. That difference compounds across a decade of service. It compounds in ways that don't appear in personnel files. Most candidates believe selection begins when they arrive at the training facility. It doesn't. It began the moment they submitted their application. Every interaction since has been observed. After 72 hours without sleep, the human brain loses its ability to maintain social masks. Politeness degrades, aggression surfaces. The person you're pretending to be dissolves. What remains is what selection instructors want to evaluate. Imagine a foundry testing metal alloys. You don't test by measuring them at rest. You heat them, bend them, cool them rapidly, bend them again. Some alloys fracture, some deform permanently, but a rare few harden. The process requires precise calibration. Too little heat, and the metal never reaches transformation. Too much, and it shatters. Selection courses have spent decades calibrating exactly how much stress a human psyche can absorb before it breaks, and they push candidates to that precise threshold. Metallurgists call this work hardening. The crystal structure reorganizes at the molecular level. What was a weakness becomes dense. The material grows strongest exactly where it almost broke. Human psychology exhibits the same phenomenon. Selection finds the people whose minds work harden under pressure. In 1952, the British Special Air Service hired psychiatrists to redesign their selection course. The goal was explicit: stop filtering for physical fitness and start filtering for psychological architecture. That model, with modifications, now governs every elite military selection program on Earth. Here is the complication no recruitment officer mentions: the same psychological architecture that makes someone excel in special operations, the ability to compartmentalize, to suppress emotional response, to prioritize mission over self, makes intimate relationships structurally difficult. The selection filter has consequences that last decades. After 10 years of service, divorce rates among special operations personnel exceed 90%. For conventional military, the figure is 50%. For civilians, 40%. The selection process identifies people capable of exceptional performance. It does not and cannot select for marital compatibility. Inside special operations units, operators develop bonds closer than most marriages. These relationships form in the team room. The team room becomes home. Spouses become outsiders. This isn't dysfunction, it's the predictable outcome of shared proximity to death. Combat training doesn't just teach skills, it reorganizes the brain. Neural pathways governing threat detection strengthen through repetition. After enough training, the brain cannot stop scanning for danger. This isn't PTSD, this is the intended outcome. The problem is that the scanning continues at the grocery store, at the school pickup, in the bedroom. Every special operations soldier completes SEER training: survival, evasion, resistance, escape. The course deliberately induces trauma under controlled conditions. The theory is inoculation: experience captivity before actual capture. The side effects are permanent alterations in stress response. Close quarters battle training requires between 8,000 and 12,000 repetitions before responses become automatic. The goal is to move threat assessment below conscious thought. By the time you decide to shoot, you've already shot. The problem is that you cannot consciously override an unconscious response. Operators describe their own homes as uncontrolled environments. In operational settings, every variable is managed: fields of fire, entry points, team positioning. At home, children move unpredictably. Spouses make decisions without consultation. The chaos feels intolerable. It is intolerable by design. Here is what no military institution will acknowledge publicly: the traits that make operators exceptional: compartmentalization, hypervigilance, emotional regulation under fire, guarantee personal destruction when operational tempo finally slows. The machine works, the humans inside it break. Between 2005 and 2020, more US Special Operations personnel died by suicide than in combat. This is not a mental health crisis, this is a design consequence. The machine that creates special operators has no mechanism for unmaking them when operations end. The special operations community cannot grow fast enough to meet demand. Selection rates cannot be lowered without degrading capability. The same experienced operators are recycled through deployment after deployment. The math is unsustainable. The machine is consuming itself. Here is the counterintuitive truth. Most operators don't want to stop deploying. Deployment is the only environment where their psychology functions correctly. On mission, hypervigilance is appropriate. Emotional compartmentalization serves the objective. At home, these same traits are pathological. The deployment isn't the trauma, coming home is. Military promotion systems reward what they can measure. They measure deployments completed, missions executed, skills certified. They do not measure marriages preserved or children present for. An operator who prioritizes family stalls their career. The incentive structure has no neutral option. Studies of special operations families show elevated anxiety disorders among children, rates significantly higher than general military families. Parental absence is not experienced as temporary deployment. It is experienced as fundamental uncertainty about whether the absent parent still exists. After enough years, the operator identity becomes total. These individuals cannot imagine themselves as anything else. Their skills are not transferable. Their social network consists entirely of other operators. Transition out of special operations is not a career change. It is an ego death. The military provides an average of 5 days of transition preparation for separating special operations soldiers. 5 days to reverse a process that took between 4 and 12 years to complete. The asymmetry is not oversight, it is structural absence. Special operations culture valorizes the quiet professional. Suffering is absorbed, not displayed. Weakness is eliminated, not treated. The same cultural architecture that enables operational excellence actively prevents operators from seeking psychological support. Asking for help violates identity. The operators who transition most successfully often don't transition at all. They recreate operational environments, security contracting, emergency medicine, wildland firefighting, environments where hypervigilance is appropriate, where compartmentalization serves the mission. They don't heal, they find compatible contexts. Remember what selection actually filters for. Not the strongest, not the fastest. It filters for individuals who find meaning in controlled suffering. These people are not enduring the difficulty, they are fulfilled by it. Absent the suffering, they lose the source of meaning. The psychologist Abraham Maslow identified this profile in 1962. He called them self-actualizers, people who had processed mortality fully, who pursued challenge for its own sake. The military didn't invent this personality type. They learned to identify it, concentrate it, and direct it. Here is the revelation that reframes everything. Special operations training does not create these people, it identifies them. They existed before selection. The training merely activates capacities that were always present. The military-industrial complex did not forge them, it found them. Psychological research suggests this profile exists in roughly 2% of any population. Selection courses do not create that 2%. They filter until only that 2% remains. The 8% pass rate is not arbitrary. It is approximately the concentration of a pre-existing type. Modern special operations depend on locating a rare natural resource. Human beings who process reality differently, who find meaning where others find only suffering. This resource cannot be manufactured. It can only be found, extracted, and eventually, inevitably, exhausted. For the individual operator, the calculus is clear but unstated. The mechanism that gives your life meaning will eventually take your life, either in operation or afterward, or slowly across decades of attempting to exist in a world you were rebuilt to find intolerable. This is not only a military story. Every system that requires exceptional human performance operates through similar extraction. Elite athletics, emergency medicine, high-frequency trading. They all find the rare few who function where others fail. They all consume what they find. The political question is unavoidable. Is it ethical to construct institutions that depend on identifying, transforming, and eventually exhausting a rare human resource? We build these machines. We feed them specific people. We have never asked whether we should. The 2% exists everywhere, in every population. They are working unremarkable jobs, raising families, never encountering the mechanism that would reveal what they contain. The system does not create them. The system merely decides which ones to find and what to use them for. The man boarding the flight in Frankfurt, the agricultural consultant with the Delaware Shell Company. He is 11 hours from Syria and a decade from a version of himself he will never locate again. He does not yet know this. The machine he serves knows it precisely.
Subscribe.